Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stocks for Real. I don't do the whole intro thing, but I was told it was a good idea. All right. So, hey, I'm just a guy on YouTube doing videos, sharing the plays that I'm in. But the primary reason for this channel, rather is YouTube, Instagram, is just to share my journey and my experience. I've been at the stock market thing for a little over 4 or 5 years now. I just started trading around like the pandemic time, though, like actively and just trying to learn everything. Just like a lot of you, a lot of people out there, I caught the wave up, when we're in the bull market and doing great, right? And then the moment that things start to fluctuate, I had no idea how to trade in that environment. About supports and resistance, supply and demand, simple moving averages, Fibonacci, all that stuff. I had no clue, right? So I've established a lot of knowledge, and I'm still growing. And right now, I have all the knowledge in the world to be a profitable trader. And right now, it's all mental. So a big part of my channel is sharing my experiences, rather as ups or downs, and then things that's working for me, that may work for you. Maybe following me might shortcut your process, and you don't have to deal with the trips and falls that I have personally had to deal with. I have had virtual mentors, rather on YouTube, Twitter, whatnot, that's shown the way to do it, right? In front of us live, like Keenan Grace is an example, right? There's a lot more, but whatever, right? Anyway, that's what I got. I wanted to start off and I want to talk about SoFi. As you guys know, I'm a SoFi ape through and through. I've been a SoFi for a minute, right? Um, I've made a lot of money on SoFi, and it it recently it rallied to about like $9-10 or something like that, and I didn't sell a single share. I sold off some options contracts when at earnings, but I still hold my shares, and in fact, as it fell down, I bought more. So since the earnings, I've added an additional, I want to say 500 plus shares of SoFi to my already large position. I know people with tens of thousands of SoFi shares. I'm not that loaded, and nor would I probably risk that much. Well, I don't know, maybe it depends. But anyway, I'm only risking what I was willing to lose. And at this point, how long I've been in SoFi, hopefully I don't lose a thing, and hopefully it's nothing but up from here. Now, SoFi, as you know, has been on an absolute roller coaster, right? Up and down, round and round, you name it, it's done it. Like, it's literally thrown so many people off, especially a lot of new people that are just staring at the stock. They don't really understand what's going on. Well, do understand that SoFi is heavily manipulated. It is getting into a sector that they're not welcome. You ever walked into a bar or walked into a club or a building where you're not accepted? I live in upper Wisconsin, and there's a lot of places like that, or at least there used to be, right? It's just the way it is, right? And um, SoFi is essentially trying to stealing market share from some of these larger banks, right? And as we've seen throughout the course of the pandemic, pre and more during and post pandemic, a lot of banks were failing and and a bailout was actually needed. And some of the smaller banks were getting bought out by the mega banks. So, but SoFi, right, through the entirety of that time period, right, while other banks were failing and getting sold off and being rescued, SoFi was thriving. During the pandemic, the SoFi, they bought several companies, Galileo, Technisys. They bought a home loan company. I forgot the name. I'm sorry. And several other things, or companies, pretty much building their moat. Also, during that time, they actually established themselves as a bank. They established a bank charter, right? So from there, they've they've established themselves as a legitimate bank. They've come out with a multitude of services and benefits, for customers. They've done multiple endorsements, and or advertising, or marketing things that they've done, that's kind of outside the norm. Most people or most companies, they're doing a lot of cable TV commercials or social media commercials or whatnot. SoFi said, we're going to buy a stadium, so they have that big SoFi stadium, which is state of the art. And anybody that's been there that I've talked to has absolutely said it's like no other stadium that they've ever seen. So SoFi is huge. What's happened since SoFi has bought that stadium? Headliners after headliners after headliners, right? So not only do you have star athletes from the Chargers, and there's another team, I'm sorry, that plays there, but also you have people like The Weeknd and people like Beyonce and people like, Taylor Swift, that are all like just megastars that are like headlining SoFi and having it in their songs or their titles or whatever. Millions upon millions of people globally is seeing this branding, and that's what the goal was. The goal for SoFi was to become a household brand, a known brand. And how does it start? Right? They start by getting the brand in your face, like SoFi, 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 SoFi. And when you see enough of something, what do? You look into it. You Google it. Like, so what is SoFi? What is this that I keep seeing? What are they keep pumping in front of me? What's going on? You Google SoFi and you realize what it is, right? And then over time you start to see the other things that they're doing. And then you start to know of your friends that are becoming either investors or bankers or banking with SoFi, regardless of the fact, right? So they did that. And then they also recently established a partnership with the NBA, right? Being the official bank of the NBA. That's absolutely insane, right? So the problem with SoFi is, well, not with them, but with the environment around them. Rather, it's just the investment space of SoFi is they're seen as like a flash in a bucket, right? You can see all these spikes right here. You can see all these spikes of volume, right? Well, pretty much all those spikes represent some major catalyst. Rather, they hired somebody new in the department, or they established a partnership with an athletic team or whatever. Rather, they're hosting. I forgot. They're hosting the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just signed on with Tiger Woods to host his like indoor virtual golf league or whatever the heck it is, right? So they're doing all these things, and it's actually very, very major. But it's like, here's something exciting. Boom, stocks goes up. Bam, done. It just gets shorted or sold off, right? People aren't realizing, especially like retail investors that aren't really following the stocks. And again, like everything that I say is not a suggestion for you to buy or sell. This is just me talking about SoFi and what I'm seeing. So when you build such a moat as SoFi and you have all these technology companies like surrounding you, and like building a moat, right? And then your brand recognition is becoming more and more prominent in just the world, right? You can't forget that. Like, so the one thing that SoFi has done quarter after quarter, first, they've always triple beat, like every quarter they're beating. So if the earnings ever comes around, stocks for real, I'm in call options. Just so you know, you don't even need to ask me. I'm in call options before SoFi earnings, okay? But anyway, you have to understand that their member growth is consistently increasing. Now, there could be a slowing down of member growth, which we've seen, but now we just had a new partnership with the NBA. Guess what their membership growth is going to be with a full quarter under their belt with that endorsement, or that brand recognition, that audience that they're now targeting, right? People are forgetting the holistic view of what SoFi has done and what they're doing. It's just like, okay, that's just what it is. Now, the last part I want to just like bring to light is just to wrap it all up is You got to think. So SoFi is over 20% shorted, right? That's insane, absolutely insane. And based on like my research and what I'm thinking, and me talking with AI or whatever, like I created an algorithm that kind of helps determine like a short interest score, of the possibilities of a squeeze happening. And SoFi has upgraded from, I want to say, a 56% to chance, well, a 56% score to a 98 score. It's not a percent, it's just a 56 or 98. It's 1 out of 100, that's the scale. But the percent chance of them getting a short squeeze is 38%. Now, in the stock market world, 38% is a pretty big deal. That's a huge probability, in my opinion. Now, what can cause a short squeeze? Well, I mean, if SoFi continues to crush earnings, continues to show profitability, continues to show member growth, continues to just gain profitability in their other tech platforms, it's like eventually, like the bubble that they're held in is going to implode. I guess imagine having a Coke bottle that's halfway full of Coke, right? And you put a Mentos in there, one, and you tighten the cap, right? No matter what, it's going to get a little tight in there, right? Mentos, and each Mentos represents something major that SoFi is doing, that's going to help the company, right? So then you get the second one. You hurry up quick, open the cap, drop it in, close it. Third one, same thing. Open the cap, drop it in, close it. Fourth, same thing. Eventually, that bottle's either going to explode, or the top is going to look like it's ready to burst, right? What I'm saying is that I think it's just a matter of time that SoFi just explodes. And when SoFi rockets, I don't think, again, I think I've said this in the past, it's not going to be gradual. I think you're going to see a major pop. Like, I mean, you're talking, I think, from 8 to 15. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be so crazy because of everything that we've seen. I think everything that SoFi has done is going to slap a lot of the shorts in the face, and they will have no choice but to try to cover. And I think investors are just going to keep pumping the stock. Okay, not all investors, not just us. I mean, your BlackRocks, your Vanguards, your Kathy Woods, ARK Invest, whatever, right? But that's just my opinion. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, but I've been following this company for a while. I watch a lot of YouTubers. I do a lot of research personally. I ask a lot of questions for me to understand and feel comfortable about the company. Now, that being said, where are we with SoFi? Right now, SoFi has just done the gap fill right here, okay? Or you can consider that like a V-shaped formation. And now we've retaken, what's this? The 752. We closed and the after hours is 757. I don't think we see a pullback here. I think going forward into earnings, we're going to either see some consolidation above the zone, and or a nice climb up to the 976, which is a previous known a level of supply. So I think we're on a road to get there up till earnings. Once earnings happens, or this conference, one of the two is going to dictate what happens there. The conference is on April 29th, and pretty much what if they change their guidance or their estimates between now and then, as far as like their projections for their earnings, like, and they increase it, the stock is going to go up because the analysts are going to have to adjust their prices or their analysis as well, right? So anyway, I see it's going to 976. I'm currently in calls. Every day, I'm going to buy calls, and it's going to be up to $1,500 worth, which is less than a quarter of the money I made on the initial earnings call, which I think I ran up over 300%, right? So if you were there, you were there. If you know, you know, right? So that's where I'm at right now with SoFi. Now, we very well could just trade in this range here, but unless some economic data comes out that changes something, I don't think that's going to be the case. As you can see, we're on a nice gradual climb up. This is very healthy for a stock when you're looking at rather not as bullish. Okay, so that's where we are. So outside of that, as far as the buys and sells, I mean, I'm not a short-term investor for SoFi, so anything under 8, I'm buying. That's just how I trade it. If you're a swing trader, or if you are a day trader for options or what have you, go over to Keenan Grace's video. He talks about the trident and where you should buy, hold, or wait for pricing for SoFi. For SoFi, that's not what I do. So I just won't really talk about it. I told you my levels as far as where I'm targeting the stock. But that's about it. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you're in SoFi, leave it in the comments. If you bank with SoFi, let me know in the comments as well. I've been banking with SoFi since 2021. And gradually over time, I've progressively given them more and more of my capital because there's 4.6% APY for my money just sitting there. Okay. And as you guys know, I'm also doing my 401k play challenge using SoFi Invest, right? Where I'm paying $10 a day into SoFi as well as Disney for like every day until August, which is when we're planning on going to Disney. So I had to look over his shoulder, make sure that my kids weren't down here because it's a complete surprise. And I just bought the tickets today and super excited and nervous because that's a lot of money. But anyway, this is Stocks for Rel. Thanks everybody for rocking with me. If you see this video and you're on my YouTube channel and we're so close to 800 subscribers, it would be very, very appreciative if you were to support and do that. I do not post videos just to post videos, so you won't get spammed by me. So anything I put out is just something I'm speaking from my heart as far as how I feel about something, or it's like a serious play that I'm really getting into that I feel like is worth sharing. But that's about it. That's about me. Take care.